Welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. All anyone can talk about here in New York and beyond is the shooter who killed United Healthcare Group CEO Bryan Thompson just in cold blood yesterday, just blocks away from Fox. I think the hotel is like 4 or 5 blocks away from Fox on 6th Avenue. And it's really scary because, the guy was in a mask and a hoodie. He drank uh, bottled water from Starbucks, and the cops found one of the water bottles and found a cell phone and some of the spent ammunition and some of the unspent ammunition. They're hoping to find his DNA on there, and so everyone's trying to figure out who this person is and why they would shoot and kill a giant insurance CEO. So obviously, healthcare is incredibly personal to people, and our healthcare and our health insurance have changed over the years because of Obamacare and the desire for progressives to have completely government-run healthcare. Well, it is, whether you like it or not, a hybrid between a Medicare system and, of course, private insurance, which isn't really truly private insurance. It's all based on a government model. And, when things are based on a government model, insurance companies, they feel they have the obligation to essentially ration care and decide what you can and cannot have. And when that happens, oftentimes you are told that insurance will not pay for all of the care that you desire, whether it's a cancer treatment or, surgery to repair an injured limb. And that makes people very upset. And especially when a loved one becomes sick and there's a treatment out there that might keep them alive, and you are denied some sort of a revolutionary cancer treatment because the insurance company, for whatever reason, doesn't feel obligated to pay for it, and you lose a loved one, maybe you've got someone like that who's holding a grudge. So there are a few theories that have proliferated since the shooting yesterday. But what's really interesting to me is that people are very intrigued by the shooter himself, but have very little empathy for the guy who died. And they're like, yep, he's screwed a bunch of people out of breast cancer reconstruction. He can go suck an egg in hell. And that has been the outpouring, especially on social media, is this just intense vitriolic anger against this guy. So there's a lot of prejudgment there, and they're assuming that he was hired either because Bryan Thompson knew something that was dragging the stock price down. He was reportedly investigated by the DOJ for unloading millions of dollars worth of stock with, some of his colleagues to the tune of $100 million between the group of them. So maybe there were some insider trading issues. The stock is doing better somehow today. And, people are like, see, they wanted to get rid of him. And it's like, this is the United States of America in 2024. If you want to get rid of him, just fire him. Give him a golden parachute. Let him sue the company and fire him. You don't have to have someone assassinated, but that's where the intrigue comes from. And then, of course, people are like, well, he was estranged from his wife. Maybe she did it. And people are pointing at his wife, Polly, because she said he had been getting a lot of death threats. And people are like, see, she wanted the money. She wanted him dead. So she hired someone. No one really knows anything. All that we know is that NYPD raided the youth hostel where the guy took off his mask and you can see him smiling, and he looks like a young Zac Efron. So maybe, we hear all these rumors that Zac Efron has had plastic surgery. Maybe he's moonlighting as a hitman because things aren't going so well, and we're not going to see High School Musical 5 like we were promised this Christmas.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
Whatever the case, there are a lot of people like, see, the guy's going to get away with it. Welcome to Alvin Bragg's New York. I don't think he's going to get away with it. I think they know exactly who he is. I personally, because a lot of people, including people I know who have military and law enforcement backgrounds, say that he was a highly trained shooter and he knew exactly what he was doing. And you could tell by the stance, especially in some of the still photos. And then you have other people saying he left so many clues behind. He's a horrible hitman. And I was saying, I think he's a special operator from Russia. I think they hired him and he's a Russian hitman, and that's where he was trained. I have absolutely nothing to back that theory. But if I'm right, I feel like I should win, at least a gluten-free fruitcake from a group of people who are betting on conspiracies either way. But there is evil in this world when you can shoot a person dead, whether it's because you were hired to or because you have a personal vendetta. That's not the way things should be done. Even if you have a moral issue with an insurance company, making billions of dollars every year and being hugely profitable, that doesn't give anyone reason to shoot them dead. We have other recourse in a civil society. And also, this kind of a death should not be celebrated. You don't want to live in a society like that. I said the same thing when two people tried to assassinate President Trump. You don't want to live in a world where you feel like the only action you can take is to end someone's life. When there's so little regard for human life, I truly believe that that is the beginning of the end of a civil society. And we don't want to live in a place like that. We want to value life, even if we have disagreements with people, even if we feel that someone is running an immoral business. And that's, an easy case to make if you have been deeply hurt by the actions or the omissions of an insurance company. Still not reason enough to take this guy's life. I do believe they absolutely will find the shooter. I have faith in the detectives of the NYPD. I know the training they have. I know what they are tasked with. I know the work that they have done in the past. No one thought that they were going to catch Bryan Kohberger in the weeks after that quadruple murder, but he's going on trial in just a few months. So they caught him. They will catch this guy. And I have a feeling I'm right. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.